everybody. Today's project is what I like to call bird's nest baskets. See my little friend behind me there? His name is Sky because his tummy looks like the sky. He's all blue with some little white cloud feathers on him. We'll see if he flies up here to say hello. He's pretty shy. Okay, so the reason we call them bird's nest baskets is because they are made out of different scraps of yarn and grass and recycled cardboard. So there's nothing new. It's like the same things that maybe a bird might make a basket out of. I don't know if you've ever seen a bird gather materials to make a basket, but that's what they do. They go looking for things that they can weave and make themselves a little nest. So it kind of is a cross between a basket and a nest. What you're going to need for this project is you are going to need scissors, white glue if you have it. If you don't have it, some kind of liquid glue will work, but I think you guys all have white glue, so that's good. You will need some string or some yarn to weave with. I have some, what do I have here? I've got kind of rainbow colored stuff, and I have some kite string that I'm going to use. You can use grass too, like if you have long pieces of grass, that works. And you will need some cardboard. Like cereal boxes work really well. You want the bendy kind of cardboard that does this. You don't want anything that's real stiff, because when we're weaving this, we're going to need this to bend a little bit. And you're going to need something to trace a circle with. So make sure that whatever you find to trace fits on your cardboard. So it can be, this is a jar lid, but it could be like a roll of tape, anything that can make a round shape that you can trace with your pencil. Okay, so let's go over that again. Glue, scissors, circle, cardboard from the recycling bin, right? And what did I forget? I think I got it all. And a pencil for tracing. All right, I am going to switch my camera around and show you how we do this. Okay, so I'm gonna open up my cardboard because you need it to be one flat piece. You can tear it or cut it. I think I'm better off tearing mine. Ah! There. Now, take your circle. I think I'm going to trace that because it's bigger and you'll be able to see it easier. And you can use a regular pencil because you might need to erase, but I'm going to use a charcoal pencil so that you can see my lines a little better. So I'm going to trace my circle. Okay. And then I'm going to try to find the middle, and as close to the middle as possible, draw another circle. You could trace something like a small jar, or maybe a quarter would be perfect for something like this. Okay, now I want to make an uneven number of lines coming out from this circle, kind of like rays of a sunshine or a flower. I'm going to make it easy and just do 5. 5 is an uneven number. You could do 7, you could do 9, you could do 11, but let's do 5 because that'll show you, that'll be quicker. Let me put it that way. So we're going to very carefully try to make even spaces. Take your time. If you need to erase your line and redraw it, that's fine. They don't have to be perfect. Kind of looks like a beach ball when you're done. So how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I need one more line right there. And I think I want this to be a little bit smaller. Okay, so once you have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to draw another line in between each section. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line here, and then I'm going to draw a line here, and make these as even as possible. I'm going to draw another line here, and there, and there. So I should have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, in every other section, I'm going to make a little X. Maybe you could make an X and an O. Let's do that. So I got X, O, just like tic-tac-toe. X, O, X, O, X, O, X, O. Okay, you got that? All right, so the next thing you want to do is you want to cut the circle out. Okay, I'm going to be kind of quick and sloppy about it, but you can try to be a little bit neater. You know, I try to speed through these videos and they're still kind of long. You can make this a little bit neater later if you want. Okay, so there's my circle. Now, let's cut out, you can cut out either X's or O's, but whichever one you choose to cut out that same one each time. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cut my O's out and leave my X spaces. So we wanna cut that out and peel it back. Okay, so I'm going to show you one that I cut out. Boy, these scissors really stick to my thumb. Here's one that I started cutting out before. Okay, so you want to have little sections here, and this is what it looks like when it's completely done. Okay, so it kind of looks like a flower a little bit. I'm going to pause this again and cut out the rest of my segments. Okay, well actually let's do one more and then I'll pause it. And you can make these more like triangles and cut them out like that, like little pizza slices. You can do that. That's a little bit better. Let's do that. And just peel that back and you can kind of see how that's going to go. Alright, I'm going to pause this so you won't get bored watching me cut out segments. Okay, so I have cut out all but one little piece. There's all the pieces I don't need, and this is the piece I do need. Now what you need to do is grab your yarn. I'm going to use red because it shows up pretty good. And find an end. Okay, and what you want to do is hold it with your finger and pull it down a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let's do one more thing here. Let's cut a tiny little notch, really small, and wedge your yarn in there. See that? I'm going to twirl it around. Yeah, okay. And here's what you do. You take turns going over, under, over, under, over, under, and turning this around. Okay? I'm going to start weaving, and I'm going to tell you something as we go along. This is super, super easy. If it starts to feel like it's difficult, check the video again and make sure that you're doing it right. This is one of those projects that is actually a lot easier than it looks. So I've got my string, okay? You can hold it with your thumb if you want. Now I'm going to go over, under, and as I do this, I'm going to turn this around. Over, under, and you can tell yourself that too. You can just keep saying over, under, until you kind of remember what to do. Okay, so over, under, turn, over, under, turn, and don't worry if that little tail gets stuck. All right, over, under, turn, over, under, and you'll start noticing that your yarn is starting to cover up these little pieces. Over, under, keep over, under, and turning, okay? over, and if it gets stuck, just pull it a little, over, under, over. I think that one got stuck a little bit. Okay, you just keep doing it. It looks a little weird at first, but after you start weaving more, it's going to start looking really cool. So what's going to happen, let's do it one more time. Over, under, turn, over, under, turn, over, under, turn. Okay, what's going to start happening is as you weave, the yarn is going to cover up both sides of this cardboard, and a really cool thing's going to happen. The tension from the yarn, that means the tightness of it, it's going to start closing all these little gaps, and that's what's going to make your basket shape. So I'm going to show you one that's done. This one has 5 sections, just like yours does. So if you turn it over, you can kind of see how that starts. And now I switched between yarn and grass on this one because I was trying to get it to look a lot more like a bird's nest. But this piece of cardboard is going to be this shape when you get done weaving. Okay, so I'm going to do a few more. Over, under, turn, over, under, turn, over, under, turn, over, under. Now I'm going to switch my camera again and hold it up. I see that I have some little rough spots on my cardboard, so it's a little loose right there, but I'm going to let it be. Now if you get doing this and you don't really like the way it looks, you can shake it out pretty easily. You can unwind it if you want. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to unwind it and start over. Okay? If you want to use a different color of yarn, even a year from now, if you decide you want different yarn on here, you can take it apart and weave it with something else. Okay? Alright, let me switch my camera back. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do it holding this up a little bit so you can see it. Over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm going to go slow. You're going to probably get really fast at this. Once you do it a few times, you'll be able to weave this without even looking at it. You'll feel it. This is a good thing to do if you're on a road trip or someplace where you don't really have anything to do. Have you ever been in that situation where you're really bored but you can't really do much, or you can't make any noise? This is a really cool project for those kinds of times. If you want to make a present for somebody, this makes a really nice gift. Okay? You following? Alright, I'm going to switch my camera again. Oh, I think my birdie's going to come out and say hi. Hi, Sky. You want to come visit us? There he goes. Okay, I have woven a little more. You see that? See how the string is starting to pull these sides up? I'm going to do a little bit more. And I think the first time you do the basket, just use one kind of yarn until you get used to how to do it. If you're feeling like you want to do something a little bit more creative, you can switch to something else. Maybe I'll switch to some white kite string that I have. So when you want to switch colors, all you do is you cut the yarn that you're weaving with, just leave a little tail on it, and you don't have to do anything with that right now, just leave it right there. And I have some white string, I'm hoping that shows up enough. So then all you do when you want to continue weaving with a new color is just hold that down with your thumb and continue with your under overs, okay? And once you go around, your string will stay put and it will not come undone. Okay, so I'm gonna weave a little white stripe into this thing. See that? Can anyone figure out why you need an uneven number of spokes here to make this work? That's a good question for your math teacher. Now, I have a knot in my string right here. I could undo it, I could cut it, or I could just weave it right in, and I'm gonna just go ahead and weave it right in because I like interesting textures. Okay? So let's say I want to switch back to red. See, I'm doing under over. I'll try to go a little slower. I tend to go really fast because once you know how to do it, it's super, super speedy. Alright, so you can see that a little bit, the side of my basket. You can see it on the darker. There you go. See that? Alright, so let's see, do I want to switch to another color or do I want to go back to red? Let me think. Yeah, maybe I'll see if I have another interesting color of yarn. I kind of like to mix it up a little. If you have some scraps, oh, I have some ribbon here. Let me try some of that. There we go. I'm going to add a little bit of this weird ribbon. It's kind of a weird creamy color. It's from a gift that somebody gave me. And you know what? I changed my mind. It's too difficult. I'm going to go back to red. When I have more time, I'll weave the ribbon because you can do it. Okay? So I'm going to go back to red. What did I do? I'm going to hold this down with my thumb and just go back to my over-unders. I'm turning. Okay. Alright, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Alright, I'm going to stop this for a minute. And I will be right back. Okay, I'm going to be popping on and off of here a lot, so you can kind of see what's happening here. See how this is kind of pulling those sides up. Just doing over, under, that's all it is. Over, under, turn. Over, under, turn. Over, under, turn. You just keep going the same direction. I know that when I teach some grown-ups how to do this, a lot of times they think that the yarn is supposed to be wrapped around and going every which way. No, it's super easy. You just keep going over, under, turn, over, under, turn. That's it. Okay? So now I can keep weaving this all the way to the top if I want. If I decide that I'm done weaving my basket and I like the size that it is, then I can go to the next step. So I think that I want to make this a little bit taller. So I'm going to pause my video again and pop back on here. Okay? And I'll show you how to finish the basket. Okay, so changed my mind. I'm going to only weave it just a tiny bit more. And I think I want to be done now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and cut this last piece of yarn off, and I'm going to leave a little tail on it. I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, now you take your white glue and you glue, you put quite a bit on, okay? Can you see this? I'm going to glue right there and right there, all along the inside, because you want that yarn to stay put where you just wove all that. Okay, you see? Okay. Make sure it sticks to the cardboard and the yarn. Okay. Then you're gonna turn your basket over, and you're gonna do the same thing on the outside. You can use quite a bit of the glue, okay, because it dries clear. Can you see that? Okay, so now all of the yarn is glued to the cardboard. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to let this yarn dry, the glue dry a little bit. So you might want to like go have a snack or do your homework or something like that and come back to this. And then once it's dry, now I'm going to cut this a little bit early. Ideally this glue would be dry, but I'm going to cut off the extra cardboard, being careful not to cut the yarn, just the cardboard. So you could do it a little at a time. It's like kind of like trimming your fingernails, you know. You want to leave a little sticking out, not too much. Okay. This is a really tiny basket. Okay. And there's my little basket. I got glue on my fingers. So now you can leave the tails on if you want, but I'm going to cut these off. But wait till the glue dries before you cut the yarn so it doesn't come unraveled on you. And then you can go in and cut off any of the tails that are sticking out. Well, my scissors aren't sharp enough, so I guess I won't be doing that. And there's your little basket. That is a very tiny basket, so you can see how if you make the cardboard pieces a little bit bigger, you can make a larger one, but that's the basic idea. Okay? Alright, I'm going to come back and show you some patterns for some different ones. Okay, so here's our pattern with the 5. That will make a basket that looks like this, or like that. This one has 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so then I'm going to make my lines in between, just like I did for the 5. Oops, I missed. No, I didn't. So you should have 14 altogether. So you do X, O, X, O, X, O, X, O, X, O, X, O, X, O. So there should be 7 X's. Let's see if I did it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. So then what I would want to do is I want to cut this circle out, okay? And then I'm going to cut all of the O's, okay? Okay, so then I have 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 spaces. And if you do that, then you get a basket that looks like this. Can you see them? Let's count them together real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so I think if you make more spokes, these things are like spokes on a bike. I think that if you make more, it looks a little bit better. There's one that has, I think this one has 11. So the more spokes you put on it, the kind of cooler it looks. This one's made out of thread, so that took a lot of patience to do that one, but you can figure that one out. These are all made the same way. And this one I think has 11. Let's count them just for fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh no, more than that. 12, 13, 14, 15. Is 15 an uneven number? Yes, it is. So you can make these any number of ways, and you can make them a lot bigger than this too. You can make some pretty giant ones. Okay, and that is how you make a bird's nest basket. These are the big ones. These are the little tiny ones that we're making together. What do you think, Sky? Could you sit in this basket? Where are you? Hey, birdie. Sky is disinterested. All right, everybody. Have fun. See you next time.